So you finally got into Bitcoin and made your first investment. Congratulations and welcome. But now you want to know when you should sell. Well, if you think that trading the hardest asset ever created for dirty, deflating fiat, the best time to sell is at the top of the price chart or when it's most valuable. But how do you nail the top? If I knew how to do it, I wouldn't be making these videos. No one can accurately predict the top or bottom of any market. So the general recommendation is that you avoid trying to time the market altogether. It's just a recipe for disaster and regret. At the same time, selling your precious Bitcoin before the top and sitting on the sidelines watching the price continue to rise and rise and rise as your dreams of a garage filled with Ferraris disappears is not a recipe for success. And the temptation would be to jump back in, of course, always right before Bitcoin price decides to crash, and you end up destitute and homeless. Well, I can't let that happen to my viewers because you wouldn't be viewing if you were destitute and homeless. So don't worry, I got your 6. In today's video, I'm going to show you a technical indicator that you can use to potentially identify the Bitcoin price top so you can maximize those sweet, sweet crypto gains and stay married at the same time. All right, none of what I say in this video is financial or investing advice. You need to make your own decisions with your money. The indicator I'm going to show you today is called the Pi Cycle Top Indicator. First published by Look Into Bitcoin founder Philip Swift, the Pi Cycle Top Indicator is a technical analysis tool based on the relationship between two moving averages on the Bitcoin chart. They are the 111-day and the 350-day moving averages. Well, actually, it's 2 times the 350-day moving average, and you have to make sure that it's 2 times the price of the 350-day moving average. For those of you who don't know, a moving average is a technical chart indicator that marks the average price of an asset over a given period of time. As such, the position of the lines deviate over time as the price of the asset they're tracking fluctuates. The most popular moving averages that people use in technical analysis are the 5-day, 10-day, 20-day, 50-day, and 200-day moving averages. There are a ton more, but those are the most popular. The Pi Cycle Indicator is named after the mathematical constant pi due to its relationship with the number. If you divide 350 by 111, you get 3.153, which is very close to pi, which is 3.142. In fact, it's the closest you can get to the actual pi number when you divide 350 by another whole number. Pretty cool, huh? Under normal conditions, 2 times the 350-day moving average would be way higher than the 111-day moving average. And for most of Bitcoin's history, it is. However, these rare moments where the 111-day moving average crosses above 2 times the 350-day moving average trigger the Pi Cycle Top signal. And that has only happened 4 times since Bitcoin was introduced in 2009. I'll show you the chart in a minute. This signal has historically been an effective way to identify market cycle highs within a 3-day period. So almost nailed it every time. There are some things to watch out for, as no technical indicator is perfect. They all work until they don't. So please don't bet the farm on this indicator alone. It should definitely be a tool in your decision-making toolbox, but not the only one. Let's take a closer look at the Pi Cycle Indicator on a Bitcoin chart versus USD. We're looking at the chart of Bitcoin zoomed way out, and it goes from today in the early March of 2024 all the way back to the times of the dinosaur, or in 2009 when Bitcoin was introduced right here. And we're zoomed out because I wanted you to see that the Pi Cycle Indicator has only occurred 4 times in the history of Bitcoin. 2 of those times back here in 2013, it looks like 2013, both of them, in the same 4-year cycle. And that hasn't happened since, and hopefully it won't happen again because it can really mess traders up. Now, the idea is to find an indicator that will help you identify the top or close to the top of a market so that if you want to take some profits and move from Bitcoin into dirty fiat, you can do that at that time. And so let's take a look at each one of the crosses of the two moving averages and see how close it was to the top. All right, we're going to start at 2013 and move forward. So I will zoom in here. There we go. The first time the pi cycle indicator crossed or flashed, basically, is what it's called, right here. And that was in April of 2013. And it was during this candle right here. And the high came on the next candle right about here. And the price when it crossed was $143, which is right about here. We can measure 143 from the exact top. The exact top was $266 during this movement. And if we take this back to 143, it's about at this area. So I'm going to get the measuring instrument and measure from here to 266. Good enough. 86%. So the indicator flashed 86% below the top. So you missed all that gain. But if you look to the right, the price actually dropped as well in the future after it peaked, and it went down all the way to here, which is a 52% drop. Here's the problem with this particular flashing of the pi cycle indicator is that a few months later, I think it's about 6 or 7 months, April to October, so that is 6 months later, the price was back to where it was when the indicator flashed. But as you can see, moving averages are separated and they're not crossing. In fact, they crossed the opposite way, which is not any indication of anything other than the price has dropped. And then shortly after that, the price crossed again and the indicator flashed again right here when the price was $1,027. So if you had sold your Bitcoin right here when the pi cycle indicator flashed, you would have missed, if you stayed out of the market, all the way to the next top, almost 1,000% gain on your money. So this indicator is not perfect, but we're going to look at the other two time periods it flashed, and it actually gets pretty good. So if you look here, when the indicator flashed, the price was $1,027, and that was right up here, which was fantastic. Basically, right at the top. You missed a few dollars. So if you had ignored this one and followed this one, you would have done very well. But how do you know? You don't. And that's part of the deal. Okay, we're going to zoom out again, and then we're going to zoom in on the second time the indicator flashed, and that was in 2017, during that 2017 bull run. So let's zoom in there. Here we are in 2017. The pi cycle indicator flashed when the price was $19,641 during this candle, and the price was right about here. Absolutely ridiculous. If you sold your Bitcoin when this pi cycle indicator flashed in 2017, you nailed the top, and that is crazy. And the subsequent drop in the price was really dramatic. Let's measure what you would have been saved from, and that was 83.5% drop right after. It took time, but essentially the price didn't rise again until 2019, mid-2019 actually. So you saved yourself a lot of trouble if you sold at that point and got into dirty fiat. All right, let's take a look at the most recent time the pi cycle indicator had flashed, and that was in 2021 during the last bull run. Let's zoom in on that area. All right, the pi cycle indicator flashed right here when the price was $59,906, and the top price at that time was $65. So you did miss a little bit of the top, a little profit you gave up, 10%. That is not much. And then it did not flash again when the price went down and back up, because you can see the two moving averages stayed quite a bit apart. Now let's see where we are right now. Bitcoin price has risen crazy dramatically over the last 2 months since the Bitcoin ETFs have been active. And You can see here from the bottom, the Bitcoin price has gone crazy. It doesn't look so crazy on the weekly chart, but if I squish this together, you can see it's really headed in this direction. But it hasn't broken out from between the two averages yet. And if we look at the past, not only has Bitcoin broken out from between the two averages, but it stayed out for months and months and months before it eventually went beneath or in between the two averages. And let's look back in the past again, and we can see, so we are right about here, and that is crazy to imagine that at $68,000, the Bitcoin price has not escaped the area between the two averages. So it looks like this bull run is just getting started and appears to be mimicking the bull run from 2017. Not so much the bull run from 2021, but you never know. This was a rather muted move. But if we measure how much it moved, even in the muted bull run of 2021, after it broke out from that moving average, it went up 200%, which is good. And then in 2017, it just went crazy. 1,000%. Well, I don't think we're going to be getting 1,000% returns this cycle, but you never know. And then if we look in 2013 at the price after it moved out from between the two moving averages, let's see how far that went up, and I'll measure that. That move was 700%. I'd take that as well. So according to the Pi cycle indicator, at least the last two times it has flashed was almost exactly at the top and just short of the top. So it's a pretty reliable indicator to actually 3 out of the 4 times that it has flashed ever. The two moving averages are converging. They're getting closer together. And eventually this one's going to come up and this one will go like this. And who knows when they'll cross. But again, we've got some time left because Bitcoin hasn't even left the space between the averages. That's it for the Pi cycle top indicator. I just thought this was a really neat indicator that you can use in your toolbox. If you want to take some profit during this bull run, wait for the Pi cycle indicator to flash, and then you can make a decision as to how much and even if you want to lighten your Bitcoin load and transfer that into fiat or stablecoin, whichever you prefer. Let me know what indicators you are looking at to help identify the top. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And I will see you in the next video.